Welcome to the Tibet Center here at 502 North Ridgewood Road in South Orange, New Jersey. We shall begin by reciting the prayer for the spreading of the teachings throughout the length and breadth of the West. By the force of the blessings of the non-fallacious three precious gems and of the truth of our pure selfless wishes, may the precious Buddhist teachings flourish and spread to the expanse of all areas throughout the length and breadth of the West. For all the people living there together with their near ones, who have engaged in the teachings and have faith and respect for them, may all conditions adverse to their practice of the pure Dhamma be dispelled, and an excellent collection of favorable conditions like the waxing moon. And especially for those who accomplish the flourishing and spreading of the victorious one's teachings, which are a course method.
May they never be oppressed by masses of interference and adverse conditions, and may this spontaneously happen just as we have hoped and wished.
Okay, these words missing.
Page.
So we'll then the Heart Sutra. Thus have I heard once, the Blessed One was dwelling in the royal domain of the Vulture Peak Mountain, together with a big gathering of great monks and great bodhisattvas. At that time, the Blessed One entered the Samadhi, which examines the dharmas called profound illumination. At the same time, noble Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, looking at the profound practice of transcendent knowledge, saw the skandhas and their natural emptiness. Then, through the inspiration of the Buddha, Venerable Shariputra said to Avalokiteshvara, "How should those noble ones learn who wish to follow the profound practice of transcendent knowledge?" And Avalokiteshvara answered, "Venerable Shariputra, whoever wishes to follow the profound practice of transcendent knowledge should look at it like this, seeing the five skandhas in their natural emptiness. Form is empty, emptiness itself is form, emptiness is not separate from form, form is not separate from emptiness. In the same way, feeling, discriminating awareness, compositional factors in consciousness are empty. Thus all the dharmas are empty and have no characteristics. They are unborn and unceasing. They are not impure or pure. They neither decrease nor increase. Therefore, since there is emptiness, there is no form, no feeling, no discriminating awareness, no compositional factors, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no appearance, no sound, no smell, no taste, no sensation, no objects of mind, no quality of sight, no quality of hearing, no quality of smelling, no quality of tasting, no quality of sensing, no quality of thought, no quality of mind consciousness. There are no nidanas from ignorance to old age and death, nor their wearing out. There is no suffering, no cause of suffering, no ending of suffering, and no path, no wisdom, no attainment, no non-attainment. Therefore, since there is no attainment, the bodhisattvas abide by means of transcendent knowledge. And since there is no obscurity of mind, they have no fear. They transcend falsity and pass beyond the bounds of sorrow. All the Buddhas who dwell in the past, present, and future, by means of transcendent knowledge, fully and clearly awaken to unsurpassed, true, complete enlightenment. Therefore, the mantra of transcendent knowledge, the mantra of deep insight, the unsurpassed mantra, the unequal mantra, the mantra which calms all suffering, should be known as truth, for there is no deception. In transcendent knowledge, the mantra is proclaimed, Tadyata Om Gate Gate Para Gate Para Samgate Bodhisvaha. O Shariputra, this is how a Bodhisattva Mahasattva should learn profound transcendent knowledge. Then the Blessed One arose from that samadhi and praised the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Avalokiteshvara, saying, Good, good, O son of noble family, profound transcendent knowledge should be practiced just as you have taught, and the Tathagatas will rejoice. When the Blessed One had said this, Shariputra and Avalokiteshvara, that whole gathering in the world with its gods, humans, asuras, and gandharvas, their hearts full of joy, praise the words of the Blessed One. And now we generate bodhicitta. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind intent on full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space endures, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind intent on full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space endures, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind intent on full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space endures, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. Okay. So, we have been discussing ethics for the new millennium. Oh yes. We will do one rosary of Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum is the... Sorry? Om Mani Padme Hum is the mantra of compassion. Compassion is the wish to remove the suffering of others. And so as we recite, we think of developing that wish to remove the suffering of others. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum.
very much. Thank you. Thank you.
So we are discussing Ethics for the New Millennium by His Holiness the Dalai Lama. And we've been discussing the pursuit of happiness and just what happiness is and how we attain it. And the initial proposition was that happiness was something that could be generated by acquiring those objects of desire, things, or by music, art, the outer objects that stimulate our senses. And so if we consider that objects, what would be the fault in considering that objects, outer objects, might provide us with happiness?
Outer objects are impermanent. Something in us wants total, permanent happiness. We don't realize that, but if you look carefully at the world, everything changes, including our bodies. So there's got to be something a little more. What can we pay? I don't know.
So the whole notion that by acquiring those things that we feel we need, that we feel are a necessity, does acquiring those things that we consider to be necessary provide us with some
The
kind of...
necessary things are there, but we put more weight on things. And all my problems will go away if I get that. Well, you get that. Then they didn't go away. And then you get this. There are things you need for life. You have to have food, shelter, blah, blah.
But let's say you need, let's say you're a pianist, just as an example.
Mark?
He's a pianist. And
He studies peonies.
you need a piano to... You're not a pianist, you're a pianist.
He's a keyboard player. That's the word these days.
Okay. So, I mean, in order to be a pianist, you have to have a piano. Not a piano, a piano. Okay. We're in agreement with this.
Necessary, yes,
So certain things are necessary, but
there seems to be something in us that thinks all this anxiety, these questions we have about life are going to be relieved by meeting this person, getting that much money, living here, there. Falls apart. There's a general desire deep in us that there has
you
to be
just don't
perfection.
have enough money, Tony.
I don't have enough money.
More money, you get
More
closer
problems.
to happiness.
More money,
No.
more people around you that want money.
But can't money make you more comfortable?
They can, yes.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Less worry can be created out of money, right?
absolutely.
So-
You get education from money.
Oh, yeah. Shelter.
Security, medical support.
And unfortunately, you pay for medical.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you go overboard just for money's sake, it becomes a craving, an irrational craving.
Yeah, but I think it's very important if the goal is seeking happiness,
Right.
not to consider that money is bad, but
don't
to consider
consider
that the problem lies not with money, but with our attitude and our use
And people will
of...
say money is a means. It is. But there seems to be a deeper satisfaction that people look for. You get the money, it's not that great. Remember Nixon saying you want to be president. When you get there, it's not that great. You know, his desire was pushing, of course. It was a bungalow.
No, but we're talking not about the presidency.
No, we're talking about getting things and craving irrationally. I'm saying that's my point of view. This is not anything important.
So the first step
Start the
is,
ball rolling.
does the... No, we hold you to this. These are...
Okay, hold me. Your
The
Honor.
first analysis is whether objects will bring us the kind of happiness that we seek.
Money being
And
an object.
yeah, and I mean, it's important to recognize that it's not that these objects, you know, to desire a car, we know that when we acquire the car and we have the car, it's not going to satisfy all our happiness, but it will satisfy the need for a vehicle to get us from here to there. And so in this process of analyzing how we arrive at happiness, it's important to recognize that the problem is not so much in the object, it's in our attitude towards it. And this is, I mean, what I'm saying is sort of obvious. However, to consider it, especially when we're overwhelmed by a desire for something, for example,
He's a photographer.
So we all have our little objects of,
Yeah,
and
this thing.
yeah. So, but what His Holiness is leading us to is that true happiness is not derived by these outer objects satisfying our wish for things, but in order to really find happiness, the term that he uses is we have to find inner peace. It is as a result of inner peace that something that we could call happiness is able to arise. So it's the cultivation of inner peace that he...
The mind. Peace of mind. Inner peace being of the mind. You're saying that?
Yeah, it's an inner thing. It's not and he brings us to this recognition that when you have inner peace, outer problems become less difficult. Outer challenges diminish. So the outer problems that we experience are not inherently or in and of themselves problematic. It's our relationship to them, our attitude towards them, that cause us to be unhappy. So if we work on that, our attitude, and we work towards developing more acceptance, tolerance, and more inner peace, then the outer challenges seem to diminish. And it's not that they become conducive to happiness, but they cease to inhibit happiness. I think that's sort of where we were at. Do you remember? No? Okay.
My book confuses us. I marked it, but now this isn't mine. Darren, do you have that book that's marked in there?
Yeah.
The marked book. Not Mark's book, but marked it. I put notes down. There's a mix-up of books last time. Mary even called it. That has all kinds of highlights. Yeah, that's mine. Espresso stains. I think.
Do you want to?
Thank you so much.
Yeah, this is it.
You want a book?
Oh, sure.
I don't know if we have.
You can use mine. Oh, thanks. Appreciate it. Thanks.
Darren, any more in there?
No.
Okay, I'll get some more.
So we're on page 58.
58, yes, here it is. Right.
Top of 58.
Right. So far.
So just, in my view, I'm going to 57 at the bottom of the page. In my view, developing inner peace on which lasting and therefore meaningful happiness is dependent is like any other task in life. We have to identify its causes and conditions and then diligently set about cultivating them. This, we find, entails a two-pronged approach. On the one hand, we need to guard against those factors which obstruct it, and on the other, we need to cultivate those which are conducive to it. So, taking this concept of considering those factors which obstruct and considering those factors that need to be cultivated, that process can be a mental process. When we find ourselves in a challenging situation, we can consider that I have to change my attitude. I have to diminish my tendency towards engaging in thoughts that bring about an obstruction to peace of mind, and I have to cultivate those things that bring about inner peace. That process is meditation. That process, and viewing meditation as not simply watching our breath or things like that, but viewing meditation as being a process of analyzing and thereby arriving at another perception of a situation. That's the most beneficial form of meditation. That's the most effective form of meditation. The other sort of, what would you call them, forms of meditation where you're just transcending the here and now, maybe at some level they're helpful. But this, changing our minds, working by means of a logical process at seeing the value in doing that, seeing the harm in doing this, and determining to work towards developing that which has a value and diminishing that which harms. That form of meditation is really important and effective, but you have to do it constantly. You have to really work towards changing your habitual ways of perceiving, ways of the habits that we lead our lives by. So far as conditions of inner peace are concerned, one of the most important is our basic attitude. Let me explain this by giving another personal example. Despite my habitual serenity today, I used to be somewhat hot-tempered and prone to fits of impatience and sometimes anger. Even today, there are, of course, times when I lose my composure. When this happens, the least annoyance can take on undue proportions and upset me considerably. I may, for example, wake up in the morning and feel agitated for no particular reason. In this state, I find that even what ordinarily pleases me may irritate me. Just looking at my watch, and His Holiness is very fond of watches, can give rise to feelings of annoyance. I see it as nothing but a source of attachment, and through this, of furthering suffering. But when on other days I will wake up and see it as something beautiful, so intricate and delicate, yet, of course, it is the same watch. What has changed? Are my feelings of revulsion on one day and satisfaction the next purely the result of chance? Or is some neurological mechanism over which I have no control at work? Although, of course, our constitution must have something to do with it, the governing factor is surely my mental attitude. Okay, so how is it his mental attitude? How is it our mental attitude?
How is it our mental attitude?
Yeah.
In what regard?
How is it that our mental attitude determines one day we wake up and we look at a cup of coffee. You like coffee? And you say, how?
Yeah, no, that's true. Even if you're in a bad mood, things that give you some, be aggravating, so I put a beautiful meal in front of you, a pastry. I don't want it. You know, like kids that throw a tantrum. So
I had a funny experience on the way over here because I have a 4-year-old and I'm always going back to the car to take things
yeah.
from the car because I got to get him in, and then there's a water bottle, and then there's this, and usually at the end I leave my phone in the car, and then I have to go back out again.
And it's right.
So I found myself singing the song. Oh, I lost my phone again. What am I gonna do? And it sounded better in my house. And I was like,
He can give you
Yeah, more.
piano
I
too.
was actually struck like
Give him a
by
few chords.
instead of throwing a fit, you know,
Uh-huh.
because like, oh, I gotta go back out, right?
That's
So
what
like, I'm just gonna sing a song, and my kid was laughing about it. I was like, oh man, I just gotta sing some more songs about losing stuff. So it's interesting that I come here for the first time for talking exactly about that, because I was thinking about that while I was singing.
It's life.
Did that happen spontaneously, or you?
Yeah. Probably because I was happy,
Mm.
or I don't know, whatever happiness means. But
No expletives.
I try to be as funny as possible when I can, when I'm not too stressed out, right? And it was funny to I sang a song, and I found myself singing in the shower something really goofy the other morning as well. So,
But
so maybe
remember
that's-
the song, because when you aren't feeling so happy and you've
Yeah.
forgotten your phone,
yeah,
if you can get into that song,
yeah,
you can make it happy.
yeah, right. It just seemed like a weird strategy that just appeared to me, right? You know, spontaneously.
So it's a big point you made. You can make it happy.
Yeah.
It's not a claustrophobic situation.
Well, I catastrophize typically because that's just my nature. So in my mind, I've lost the phone. It's on the street somewhere. I'll have to buy a new phone, right? But I know it's in the car. You know, I know it's
Part
there.
of you knows
So,
it's in the car, but you don't have confidence enough.
yeah. So the song gave me more confidence that I'm just gonna find it.
But even if you lose it,
Well, that's something else.
you get a new phone.
Yeah, right.
That can be sort of fun too.
And of course,
A trip to the Genius Bar, right?
If you can afford it.
If you can afford it. But sometimes these little shifts provide. We consider that, so according to the laws of karma, to lose your phone is something that you merit for whatever reason. It's not that you know why you've lost your phone, but if you accept it as, oh, that particular negative karma that caused me to lose my phone has arisen, if I accept that patiently, I've diffused that particular negative karma that has arisen. If I fight it, get angry, and then I'm increasing that negative karma. So the more I can accept it,
The more the karma goes away.
yeah.
everything has a cause. And this
So
cause
is the anger in response to losing it what causes a future loss?
I would say,
Mm.
wouldn't you?
I'm not sure about that.
it's hard to be sure about karma's working.
I would say it increases your likelihood that in other such situations you're going to again get angry and suffer.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know about what. Maybe losing that karma comes from the action of taking.
Oh, you're getting very technical about karma. And karma is a very complicated subject. In the categorization of phenomena, according to Buddhism, you have those things that are evident. The microphone is evident. Then you have those things that are hidden, that you cannot see directly, but you can prove by means of logic, inference. And then there are those things that are very hidden, that cannot be proven by means of logic, and that cannot be seen directly. And karma, the workings of karma, are in that third category. So we can see tendencies, and we can, and we're taught taught the mechanics, but we can't directly perceive them. They are a little beyond our ability. But I'm giving you the party line here. So
Party on, guys.
how does that
Sounds good.
apply to your?
Well, I mean, the specific karma that leads to a specific result is very hidden.
Mm.
But in general, to have a lack of resources would be from stealing, perhaps, in general, I'd say.
So losing your phone would be.
Maybe.
Let's just say that losing your phone, we don't know what the cause of that is.
Yeah.
We'll put it into the. I think it's better. But we know that losing your phone on one level is a problem. Can be a problem.
Depending on how we look at it, I guess, right?
No, but on one level,
Yeah.
it's a problem.
Yeah.
If we, I recently lost my phone.
You did? You did?
I was,
In Europe?
no, in Assam.
Oh, in India.
Yeah. And
Well, that's serious.
it was serious. I had to actually take a plane back to Delhi to sort of straighten out my life.
And you couldn't make reservations on the plane because
Couldn't
you
do
didn't have
anything.
a phone.
I couldn't do anything. I couldn't do anything. I literally had to go back to square one, and I
Wow.
got a new phone, and it was sort of fun.
There's very few people have to get on a plane because of a lost phone. So that, how was your attitude about it?
I heard you from here.
At first, I was a little bit frustrated because it wasn't the loss of the phone so much as the fact that I was in this area in India, which is you have
Up
India
on the border.
way in the part of India that extends over above Bangladesh and towards Burma,
Okay.
and it also is close to Tibet to its north, and I was waiting for a special permit that was going to be sent to me by WhatsApp onto my phone from the central government, giving me permission to go north. And I was told by the office that gives this permit to wait and just remain in Assam. And when I got that, I could proceed up to where I wanted to go. And suddenly I didn't have the the tool by which I was going to be able to do this. There were people up there waiting for me. So I had to
Go back.
fly to Delhi
Yeah.
to get the permit and to buy a new phone to then be able to go up to.
Wow.
And
Was it stolen or you just lost it? You don't know.
it suddenly wasn't there.
But no one was using your data.
No, I immediately blocked it.
Okay.
I went to the local police station. The hotel people said, go to the police station. And I walked in there, and it was a little wooden sort of shack kind of place. And the police inspector was seated here with a pile of files, on top of which was a pistol. And it was, gave it a certain...
I've seen that movie.
It was to weigh down all these files. And then there was a woman who came around with a little tray and offered me Assam tea and cookies. And the inspector said, have. This is Assam tea. Very good Assam tea. And it was the best Assam tea I had the whole time I was in Assam. So I thought of all and the whole thing was such an adventure that I thought, this is okay. I mean, I took it. It was like you're singing. It became something of a song.
Write this up. This is very interesting. I'm serious. I'm not joking.
Anyway,
That's
so
scary, though. That's really scary.
well, then I went online to try to see my emails, and the hotel said that I could use their computer, and in order to get online to my, whatever it's called, the site where you get your emails, using another,
Right.
not my computer, I was going to have to be sent a one-time password.
Yeah.
And I had no phone to receive the one-time password, so I couldn't go online.
Which expires in 10 minutes.
Then I went online to see the monastery's website to get the phone number, because we don't remember phone numbers anymore. And the phone number they had was an old phone number. It was no longer good. So I couldn't call the
This is really
monastery
frustrating.
to tell them to tell the monks who were waiting for me up in the north that I was stuck. So I was, and they were saying prayers, but they thought I was dead or something. They didn't know. Anyway, it sort of snowballed a little bit.
That's a big deal.
I think cookies at that moment are really special, right? Yeah.
Yes, and that tea, I can remember. It was really good.
That's where tea is from, those hills, right?
Yeah. So being able to transform, being able to,
That's an art.
yeah, but thinking of a little song or it helps.
Sometimes just turning your head.
But every difficulty could be considered an opportunity to practice patience.
Mm-hmm.
But then, I guess there might be different methods of being patient, singing songs, eating cookies.
You need less of these opportunities to practice patience.
I heard one monastic teach one time, and she said, when something really bad happens, just develop the habit of saying to yourself, "This is the best." In that moment, just say that to yourself, and that might shift something. This is the best.
I do that, but I'm usually very bitter.
Yeah, sarcastic.
Yeah, but even if you recognize that you are being a little bit sarcastic with yourself, if you've changed the dynamic just a little bit, that can be enough to at least smile at yourself and say, I'm being sarcastic. Whatever it is, that shift helps.
Full mind isn't going after the tragedy to a little space. If you can do it.
So, and just this conversation develops, helps strengthen that.
It does.
So,
What has changed?
so although of course, our constitution must have something to do with it, the governing factor is surely my mental attitude, our basic attitude, how we relate to external circumstances, is thus the first consideration in any discussion on developing inner peace.
Can I ask?
Yeah.
Would, for instance, a physical condition or a health issue be considered an external condition or an internal condition?
It's a condition.
Yeah.
And it's a condition that our attitude definitely determines the degree of our suffering.
You mean a sickness? Mental or physical? It's internal. The guy across the street doesn't have it.
Yeah.
But it is definitely something that our mind can treat in different ways.
But it seems like the attitude of inner peace shouldn't be dependent on my wrist. If I have a pain in my wrist,
Yeah.
right, that's not internal. Like it's a mental, and pretty much any aspect of my physical body or.
No, but all right, but you're I hope you're not debating. if you have a pain in your wrist, he debates. It's a, in
No, I
the
know.
Tibetan tradition, we
Yeah,
debate.
it's not a debate.
If you have a pain in your wrist, you can be really frustrated towards it, and you can accept it. And the degree of your inner peace is determined by the way in which you treat it, right?
I guess there's some things, that example is something that for me would be less me. Whereas if I'm having breathing issues, it's me who's having breathing issues.
So it's closer to that inherent
Yes.
mark.
Yeah.
No, that's more, a breathing issue is more life-threatening than the pain in the wrist.
Well, he's a piano
Subconsciously,
teacher.
what?
He's a piano teacher, a piano player. He
You just
needs
can't
the
make money,
wrist.
but you'll still live.
But the implication is that even if it's life-threatening,
Yeah.
then that can still be something that we have a greater degree of inner peace,
Of tolerance toward,
tolerance. Yeah.
towards, I see. Yeah, with training,
Yeah.
because you know your life is temporary anyway.
I feel like
But
that's because that's easier to align with an identity versus a hurt wrist, which is just like a frustrating failure of like a mechanism. You're used to just being a particular way, like what you go through the world.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, it's more difficult because it's associated with an identity.
Like a life-threatening thing's easier to, like, because you can.
It's you who's gonna die.
Yeah, exactly. As opposed to wrist, which is like this is now not me. This is a thing hindering something that I'm used to just like performing.
Yeah.
But you could develop that attitude towards any part of you as being, is it me? Is it part of me? I mean, if it's my heart that has problems, it's still my heart. It's not that. I mean, we can dissociate from any part. And then, if we really want to get into it, you start to look for whether there is a me that possesses all these parts. But it's interesting, I find, that you consider that the wrist being farther from the lungs, or farther from the sense of me than the lungs, would be less me.
Maybe it's related to whether the loss of that would be the loss of your life.
What's the point? The wrist or the...
Anything, like, it's
No,
less
that's
me.
the untrained weak mind does that, yeah. Which is all of us, but
It's
But
less me if the loss of it is not the loss of my life.
Well, it's interesting that you're saying that, because to a great extent, your livelihood depends on your wrists.
yeah. Every Sunday at least. And your feet. Plays the organ in the church. It's an organ that has footwork and everything, right?
Yeah.
Old fashioned.
So you can still play with the feet, you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, but even the jokes will help, because when we develop pains that we consider to be closer to me, it is important to well, I'll throw into here the whole idea of me. One of the things that we do in Buddhism is search for the me. And you can get more and more and more subtle. And you have the parts that make me up, and then you have the me that we think is the possessor of those parts. But as we've just seen in this conversation, those parts that we might have considered to be part of the sort of essential me are still parts. And so there's still a me that thinks of my heart or my lungs. Those were the two organs that we really felt were close to, because they're life-threatening. me we might think of as being a mental quality that, but then we, the mental has, there are thoughts, there are feelings, there are sort of mental mechanisms which are not me, they are my mental mechanisms. And so so the search is for what this me might be that would possess this whole intricate web of thoughts. That's something that we have to think about. And so the real threat to, what would you call it? The real threat to my life or existence would be when that begins to be threatened, that most subtle aspect of me.
Yeah, but I mean, even when we haven't done that analysis, if we feel like we're about to die or get killed or we're in danger,
Yeah, well, most people don't do that.
Mhm.
Reflexively,
that
protecting the sport.
that will arise.
Most people haven't.
But are you
examined
saying
me.
that if we do this analysis and we get to that sense of where that subtle I is,
Yeah.
then we can play with seeing what might affect that or what might disturb that? I didn't know the implication of what you're asking.
Well, we were talking about the closeness to life-threatening, and I'm just introducing the notion that instead of it being life-threatening, it can be me-threatening.
And those aren't necessarily the same thing.
That's the heart of Buddhism, right?
Yeah. But it feels like,
Where is I?
they feel like the same thing.
I don't know.
Right now they do. Well, it's always, where is the I? It's in the body or the mind? Stop that. It's got to be either way. It can't be over there. So then you say my mind, which assumes that there's a platform you're standing on, points to my. It's not there. Sometimes things like that. This is the heart of Buddhism. It takes a lot of study, but meantime, don't worry about it.
No,
Go about
no.
your business.
Worry
Unless
about
you
it.
can join this monastery.
Bring these thoughts into your lives.
It has to be considered.
Yeah.
As Nikki said, the analytical meditation first. You sort things out.
So our basic attitude, how we relate to external circumstances, is thus the first consideration in any discussion on developing inner peace. In this context, the great Indian scholar practitioner Shantideva once observed that while we have no hope of finding enough leather to cover the earth so that we never break our feet on a thorn, actually we don't need to. As he went on to observe, enough to cover the soles of our feet will suffice. In other words, while we cannot always change our external situation to suit us, we can change our attitude. Now, it's not just a good point, it's one that if by means of analytical meditation we really, or you should compose a song on this one, it can suddenly make change the whole flavor of our lives. So,
Perfect.
sorry?
Darren thinks of right now.
No, we mustn't think about other people's need for these things.
That's true.
We have to think of our own. The other major source of inner peace and thus of genuine happiness is, of course, the actions we undertake in our pursuit of happiness. So here we pursue happiness by means of different forms of different actions. We classify these in terms of those which make a positive contribution towards it, those whose effects are neutral, and those which have a negative effect. So doing this may sound sort of, I don't know, pedantic, but if we can maintain the objectivity to analyze and see whether we are engaging in actions that make a positive contribution as opposed to a negative one, we are already developing some kind of control over the way we lead our lives. And that little bit of control really begins to develop, and we're able to develop the discipline, the habits that lead us in a positive direction rather than either a neutral one or a negative one. So this just moment of consideration, being mindful and considering the direction, the method by which we're pursuing a particular direction is really important. It may not seem like the basis or the essence of a spiritual journey or way of going about life, but it is. As His Holiness goes on to, he talks about the fact that we have these two elements. We have ethics and we have the spiritual. And the ethical is the determination to work towards preventing ourselves, diminishing the tendency to act in ways that harm others. And the spiritual is going a step further and working towards developing the ability to be of benefit. That application of ethics and, let's say, a spiritual way is something that, I think we can think of it like sort of like you're holding the reins of a horse.
That's
You're,
exactly, yes. Horse strategy.
and you are responsible. I mean, the horse goes along depending on your commands, and you therefore have to determine, you have to recognize that you have control over this, and you have to determine.
And then that's from the Lam Rim, the exchange, the one horse strategy and 18 human strategy. Do you remember?
No.
Jeff and I was, the one is the defensive thing, which you just said. We hold on, and then the 18 humans do everything you can to help. So those two things, you hit the nerve, you exploded. Good. We were talking about this before class. And they use the metaphor of a horse, as you picked up.
But can you say more of what that is?
I'd have to go to the book because my mind died listening years
Could you
ago.
say more?
No, I said already.
Developing bodhicitta. It's in the context of developing bodhicitta, which the enlightened further says you have a defensive mode in your mind, and then offensive. In other words, what can I do to help others?
The defensive meaning
The
of
one
stance of
horse. They're using
non-harm.
means watching your intent and seeing that you're sticking to it. You're holding the reins of the horse. Then the other thing, what can I do to help him?
He said, which is ethics, that part, right?
Mhm.
That's what
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And then now what can I do to help? So-and-so needs this, he needs that. In the meantime, the mind can't get carried away with unethical behavior, but you're not going to be able to accomplish the other thing. So that's Lam Rim 2, the bodhicitta part. in the exchange of self. And as the Kadampas came up, I want a horse rider. Now he's talking about a horse, you know. These things. But you got to stay with it and read it and get commentary.
Lamrim is a particular text.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm using jargon that I should.
Lamrim means stages of a path. And so the Lam is path and Rimba is stages. And so it's the stages of the path to enlightenment. And the tradition that the center is really sort of embedded in is follows this cultivating, studying, and then and working at cultivating these stages along the path to enlightenment.
Good news, it's all delineated. You don't have to just shoot here and there. You can. And when
Yeah, but you have to put it to work.
Yeah, I know. Well, who's doing that? Come on. Rule the party.
So,
15
yeah, but where the other major source of inner peace? We classify these in terms of those which make a positive contribution towards it, those whose effect is neutral, and those which have a negative effect on it. By considering what differentiates those acts which make for lasting happiness from those which offer only a transient sense of well-being, we see that in the latter case, the activities themselves have no positive value. We have a desire for something sweet, perhaps, or for some fashionable item of clothing, or to experience something new. We have no real need for it. We simply want that thing or to enjoy that experience or sensation. And we set about satisfying our craving without much thought. Now,
That's wonderful.
I'm not suggesting there is necessarily anything wrong in this. An appetite for the concrete is part of human nature. We want to see, we want to touch, we want to possess. But as I suggested earlier, it is essential we recognize that when we desire things for no real reason beyond the enjoyment they give us, ultimately they tend to bring us more problems.
Wise words.
So,
Wise words.
when we desire things for no real reason beyond the enjoyment they give us, ultimately they tend to bring us more problems. All right, so how do they bring us more problems? That's a big...
It's a self-centered way of looking at the world, as he said.
So let's explore this. When we desire things for no reason beyond the mere enjoyment of them, how does this then bring more problems to us?
We hints later in the next sentence, but it is self-centered to think I want this enjoyment, everything else. You're not looking at context anymore. You're not looking at results of indulging in this behavior.
No, but it's not that we say I'm going to do this for only my own satisfaction. No, in life we are pulled towards things.
Right, and that's a habit of being, somewhat self-centered. It's not all wrong. You crave things.
Yeah.
It can get out of hand.
But what I'm asking is how that craving of things for no reason beyond the mere enjoyment of them, how that brings more problems to us.
I mean, time is kind of like a zero-sum game, right? So if you spend time just pursuing, eating sweets or binge watching Netflix or whatever, you're kind of losing time doing something that might build a better version of yourself or enact your
very good. Big
what
factor.
you want and bring into the world, Yeah.
I agree. Big important factor, time. We forget life is momentary and constantly getting shorter, and devoting time to anything else?
That sentence always is hard for me to digest, and I don't think it's because of the meaning, but somehow the way it's phrased.
Moreover, we find the happiness of gratitude because needs they are themselves such perceived things needs bring are themselves transient. So the happiness that you get from gratifying such perceived need is itself transient. So the time element is right there in this next sentence.
So transient. So it sounds as if,
They're two different. He's saying time. You eating good time. Transient.
but then the things, the objects,
yeah,
your piano is impermanent.
not your camera. No.
The cameras are getting more and more permanent.
Yes, they're working. AI is going to prove. Yeah. But we're not. That's the other problem.
There was
very deep, these
recently
words.
a filmmaker who was working on a film on AI and went to Dharamsala and had a discussion with His Holiness the Dalai Lama about AI and introduced to His Holiness the fact that there are all these people today who consider that our physical being, that medicine is at a point where we are going to be able to remain alive forever. That the process of dying, we're just at the cusp of figuring out how to keep us going forever. And His Holiness basically said that's ridiculous, and who would want this old body anyway? We can start afresh in a new body. Let's work towards meriting a good new body to continue the process of working towards enlightenment.
He's done that.
But isn't the indication of that person that we wouldn't feel old, wouldn't seem to be old because of these advancements? Like we would be in such good health.
Yeah, I wonder.
I don't know.
This has been going on for years.
I don't know.
Long life.
But it's a different
regimen.
it's a different question if you're imagining that as compared to going on with a very old and decrepit body.
But I mean, they weren't
Right.
talking theoretically.
Yeah.
He was introducing to His Holiness the fact that there is this belief that we are soon going to be able to lick death. And we have to, I suppose, we have to accept that if this is going to be approached, the beings who get to the point where they're kept alive are going to get more and more creaky, no?
It happens today.
Probably.
It happens today.
Look at me.
But is it, I mean, and then you just come back to, is it the case that if something is born,
No.
it must die? Or not?
Yes. Oh yeah. You can take that to the bank.
Yeah. I mean, if at one point it didn't exist and then it came into existence.
Oh. Getting off the beaten path. But they have people alive with all kinds of prosthetic devices now. So it's.
But isn't it an assertion in Buddhism that if it is born, it must die? Or,
It is,
Yeah.
but there is this new idea that
I mean,
They're
maybe-
claiming sentience now for these machines, which is not possible. But
anyway.
don't get carried away.
No, I think that these are things to consider.
Yeah.
These are so we're sort of ending.
Knowledge.
When we desire things for no real reason, beyond the enjoyment they give us, ultimately they tend to bring us
After
more
any
problems. Moreover, we find that, like the happiness which gratifying such perceived needs brings, those things, are themselves, in fact, transient.
12%.
Okay,
Name?
thank you. Oh, okay, so we will end here. Today is the
Marking on bottom of
24th.
59.
Thanks for that one.
Oh, sure. Appreciate it.
Thanks very much. Appreciate it.
Well, see the
So
library.
we will end with the reciting the Sutra of the Recollection of the Noble Three Jewels, which,
Is this it here?
yes,
Okay, thank you.
we recite this recollection of the Buddha, the doctrine that he taught, and the Sangha, the spiritual community practicing according to his teachings, and we dedicate the merit of our remembering these things, considering these things. We've been asked to pray for the Christiana Brandolini, who died.
Nuno's mother.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, Nina.
Alan Greenspan and Clive Davis. These are the three people we've been asked to pray for, but anyone else whom you wish to remember as we recite this. Okay. I prostrate to the Omniscient One. Thus the Buddha, Bhagavat, Tathagata, Arhat, Samyak Sambuddha, the learned and virtuous one, the Sugata, the knower of the world, the charioteer and tamer of beings, the unsurpassable one, the teacher of devas and humans is the Buddha Bhagavat. The Tathagata is in accord with all merit. He does not waste the roots of virtue. He is completely ornamented with all patience. He is the basis of the treasures of merit. He is adorned with the minor marks. He blossoms with the flowers of the major marks. His activity is timely and appropriate. Seeing him, he is without disharmony. He brings true joy to those who long with faith. His knowledge cannot be overpowered. His strength cannot be challenged. He is the teacher of all sentient beings. He is the father of bodhisattvas. He is the king of noble ones. He is the guide of those who journey to the city of nirvana. He possesses immeasurable wisdom. He possesses inconceivable confidence. His speech is completely pure. His melody is pleasing. One never has enough of seeing him. His form is incomparable. He is not stained by the realm of desire. He is not stained by the realm of form. He is not affected by the formless realm. He is completely liberated from suffering. He is completely and utterly liberated from the skandhas. He is not possessed with dhatus. His ayatanas are controlled. He has completely cut the knots. He is completely liberated from extreme torment. He is liberated from craving. He has crossed over the river. He is perfected in all the wisdoms. He abides in the wisdom of the Buddha Bhagavats who arrived in the past, present, and future. He does not abide in nirvana. He abides in the ultimate perfection. He dwells on the bhumi where he sees all sentient beings. All these are the perfect virtues of the greatness of the Buddha Bhagavat. The Holy Dharma is good at the beginning, good in the middle, and good at the end. Its meaning is excellent. Its words are excellent. It is uncorrupted. It is completely perfect and completely pure. It completely purifies. The Bhagavat teaches the Dharma well. It brings complete vision. It is free from sickness. It is always timely. It directs one further. Seeing it fulfills one's purpose. It brings discriminating insight for the wise. The Dharma which is taught by the Bhagavat is revealed properly in the Vinaya. It is renunciation. It causes one to arrive at perfect enlightenment. It is without contradiction. It is pithy. It is trustworthy and puts an end to the journey. As for the Sangha of the great Jnana, they enter completely, they enter insightfully, they enter straightforwardly, they enter harmoniously. They are worthy of veneration with joined palms. They are worthy of receiving prostration. They are a field of glorious merit. They are completely capable of receiving all gifts. They are an object of generosity. They are a great object of complete generosity. The protector who possesses great kindness, the omniscient teacher, the basis of oceans of the merit and virtue, I prostrate to the Tathagata. Pure, the cause of freedom from passion, virtuous, liberating from the lower realms. This alone is the supreme ultimate truth. I prostrate to the Dharma, which is peace. Having been liberated, they show the path to liberation. They are fully dedicated to the disciplines. They are a holy field of merit and possess virtue. I prostrate to the Sangha. I prostrate to the Buddha, the leader. I prostrate to the Dharma, the protector. I prostrate to the Sangha, the community. I prostrate respectfully and always to these three. The Buddha's virtues are inconceivable. The Dharma's virtues are inconceivable. The Sangha's virtues are inconceivable. Having faith in these inconceivables, therefore the fruitions are inconceivable. May they be born in a completely pure realm. We'll recite the 8 verses on training the mind, which is
2 pages over.
with the determination to accomplish the highest welfare of all sentient beings who surpass even a wish-granting jewel, I will learn to hold them supremely dear. Whenever I associate with others, I will learn to think of myself as the lowest amongst all, and respectfully hold others to be supreme from the very depths of my heart. In all actions, I will learn to search into my mind, and as soon as a disruptive emotion arises, endangering myself and others, I will firmly face and avert it. I will learn to cherish ill-natured beings and those oppressed by strong misdeeds and suffering, as if I had found a precious treasure difficult to find. When others, out of jealousy, treat me badly, with abuse, slander, and so on, I will learn to take all loss and offer the victory to them. When the one whom I have benefited with great hope unreasonably hurts me very badly, I will learn to view that person as an excellent spiritual guide. In short, I will learn to offer to everyone without exception all help and happiness directly and indirectly, and respectfully take upon myself all harm and suffering of my mothers. I will learn to keep all these practices undefiled by the stains of the 8 worldly concerns, and by understanding all phenomena like illusions, be released from the bondage of attachment. So we'll end with a prayer for the swift return. Exalted wisdom of all victims gravid in a drop, the sole refuge manifest in the form of the one wearing saffron robes, Guru Losang Tuan Vojachan, please bear witness here today that our prayers may be fulfilled. We beseech the great torch of the doctrine, accomplishing from long ago the vast waves of aspirational prayers, Lord of speech of the victors Losang's teachings, spreading them to the ends of the earth by means of explanation and practice. Beholding the commitment, I will invite all beings to be my guests on the unsurpassed great awakening. Yet you have withdrawn the activities of the form body that serves the welfare of others. Is that worthy of the supreme of most beings, the Bodhisattvas? Though impossible for you till sickly existence end, to abandon your commitment to liberate all beings, we beseech the new son of Nirmanakaya to swiftly return from the realm of Dharmakaya, brought forth by Bodhicitta, drawn by 7 steeds. Having reached the far limits of scholarship, religious life, and goodness, please come swiftly as an unrivaled supreme emanation, full holder of the sage's teachings, and wish-fulfilling jewel.
Return to the glory of Losang Tenpe.
Magnificent truth of the 3 precious jewels, Mahakala, Karmayama, and Srimati Devi, and the ocean of Dharma protectors, may you spontaneously fulfill our wish, the swift blossoming of the reincarnation's fresh moonlight face. Thank you. So next Saturday at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, we will have a prayer session here, White Tara Sadhana, and then next Monday we have class of New York.
And next Monday, New York City, 7 o'clock.
Okay,
Every week.
thank you. So that I should explain that last prayer that we recited is a prayer that was composed by His Holiness the Dalai Lama.